Hey there, Dr. Dallas Bragg here, recovery coach for gay men who want to break free from the addictive patterns of crystal meth and live their best and highest life. Today we're talking about people pleasing and how that behavior contributes to your meth use. If you are still caught up in the people pleasing trap, this will be a very helpful video for you. On this channel, you're going to find lots of resources to help you break free from Tina and attain your best and highest self. Also, don't forget to look for my podcast. It's called The Aftermath. It is also here on this YouTube channel as well, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'll drop a long form video like this one every other Saturday, so please turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any. By the way, if you're interested in my one-on-one coaching program, it's called Recovery Alchemy. The link to apply is in the show notes. Through weekly one-on-one sessions, weekly group sessions, and daily accountability, your life could look much differently in 6 months than it does now. You know, in my active meth use, I can recall many conversations along these lines. Him, you into being a dom? Because I'm a F-word sissy, And then on the other end, I would be rolling my eyes. Yeah, I'm into that. You got the stuff with you, right? That'd be my next question. Because really what I wanted was the stuff, the drugs, right? Or the connection. Or whatever else. I was somebody who was willing to spend the night with me, so I'm into whatever he's into. During my active meth use, I would pretend to be into whatever the guy wanted in exchange for drugs. I was dishonest and I was transactional, which is typical people-pleasing behavior. I said yes to almost everything, even when I wanted to say no. Meth didn't cause me to be a people-pleaser. I was one before I met Miss Tina. In retrospect, I lived my life being dishonest about what I really wanted in exchange for the approval and validation of others around me. Often the personality characteristics that exist within us while sober are enhanced while under the influence of crystal meth. So in the Chemsex realm, this looked like doing anything to feel validated, connected, accepted, and wanted. My personal values and boundaries and preferences were minimized. In fact, over time, I didn't have any fucking idea what a boundary was or even what I stood for. Does this sound familiar to you? If it does, keep listening. In a past video, I also said that most of the men I help fall into two categories, victims or perfectionists. Well, since then, I've noticed a third type, people pleaser. If you're listening to this, not reading this, this is someone in recovery from crystal meth. Chances are you've felt the weight of constantly trying to make everyone else happy while your own needs get buried deeper and deeper. Let's talk about what people pleasing actually is, where it comes from, and most importantly, how we can start healing from it. So listen, I help gay men break free from addictive patterns of Chemsex or Tina and become their best and highest selves. My one-on-one coaching program, Recovery Alchemy, is a 6-month intense program that can literally change your life. I accept 2 new clients a month. You can apply in the show notes. All right, so let's talk about what people-pleasing really looks like. People-pleasing isn't just being nice or caring about others. It's that compulsive need to say yes when everything inside you is screaming no. It's changing who you are, depending on who's in the room. It's feeling responsible for everyone else's emotions while completely ignoring your own. People pleasers are essentially perpetual liars, and that might hit you hard, but it is not meant to shame, but illuminate. This is about understanding that people pleasing is actually a survival strategy we learned when we didn't feel safe being ourselves. For many of us in the gay community, this pattern started very early. Maybe you learned that certain parts of yourself weren't acceptable. Maybe you discovered that being agreeable kept you safer than being authentic. Most people pleasers come from parental dynamics. Maybe one of your parents was super involved in your life. Or on the other spectrum, maybe the parent was abusive. You begin to learn to show up in ways that gain the acceptance of your parents. So in that example, you may major in a subject because it pleases mom, who's very involved in your life, or make yourself invisible, not to displease dad. That might sound familiar to you too. That little kid inside who just wanted to be loved and accepted is still running the show. trying to earn approval through performance or invisibility rather than presence. So what's the connection to addiction and why this matters in recovery? So if you are a people pleaser, most likely you've defined your identity through the needs of others. So you've become codependent. Your sense of well-being rises and falls on the whims of others' behavior. That sets yourself up for volatile emotions. So think about it. Crystal meth gave us a temporary escape from that exhausting performance. For a few hours, days, or a few weeks, we could feel confident, powerful, and feel enough. We didn't have to work so hard to please everyone because the drug made us feel like we were finally acceptable as we were. In recovery, when we continue down the people-pleasing route, we are essentially trading one drug for another, using external validation to fill the shame void that meth temporarily filled. If we don't address these patterns, we're setting ourselves up for relapse. So how people-pleasing shows up in our life is, let's talk about that. Let's get specific with it. People pleasers might look like this. Calendar chaos. Your schedule is packed with things you don't actually want to do. Financial drain. You're constantly broke because you're always giving money away or picking up the tab. Emotional exhaustion. You feel drained after social interactions instead of feeling energized. Lost identity. You can't remember what you actually like or what you want anymore. Relationship patterns. You attract people who take advantage of your giving nature. Or work burnout. You're always the one staying late, taking on extra projects, never saying no. And one of the most telltale signs is when we constantly prioritize others over ourselves. The root of all of this is I am not enough, which is also the root of addiction. At the core of people-pleasing is a belief that whispers constantly, I am not enough. When we function from this place of feeling inadequate, there's no way we can ever really measure up because we're trying to fill a bottomless pit with external approval. For you as a gay man, the belief often gets layers and layers of complexity piled on it. We might have internalized messages about our sexuality, our masculinity, or our worth in a world that told us we were wrong for simply existing. That shame becomes fuel for the people-pleasing fire. We think, if I could just make everyone else happy, if I could just perform perfectly, maybe then I'll be worthy of love. Recovery from people-pleasing, like recovery from substances, is a daily practice. It's not about becoming selfish or uncaring. It's about finding balance and authenticity. So you want to start with awareness. The first step is learning to sit with uncomfortable feelings instead of immediately trying to run from them and escape them. So when you feel that familiar urge to say yes when you mean no, I want you to pause. Notice what's happening in your body. And where do you feel the anxiety? What stories are you telling yourself? Remember that emotions aren't facts. They're just information. Practice that sacred no. So here's a powerful exercise, something you might want to try. Try spending 7 days saying no to everything. When someone asks you to go to lunch, no. Weekend plans, no. Work project, no. You can tell everyone you're doing the exercise. That's fine. It doesn't have to be a secret. But after saying no, you can also change your mind after 90 seconds if you want to. It's not about being mean. It's about retraining your nervous system to be comfortable saying no and understanding that it won't kill you or cause abandonment when you do say no. It's about discovering that your worth isn't tied to your usefulness. So you want to feel your feelings. When that uncomfortable feeling hits, that sense of not being enough, just sit with it. Ask yourself, what does this feeling mean? What am I actually saying to myself right now? Get really curious about your internal world instead of immediately trying to escape through pleasing. So I want you to redefine your boundaries. Remember, boundaries are about how you show up in the world. They have nothing to do with anyone else. They're not hurting anyone's feelings. They are your personal guidelines for what you will and won't accept or tolerate. Boundaries aren't walls. They're gates with you as the gatekeeper. So I want you to rediscover play and joy as part of this process. Many people pleasers have lost touch with play. When we don't play and explore, we can't define ourselves. If we can't define ourselves, we lose our sense of who we are. What brought you joy before you learned you had to perform for love? Can you remember? Or now it's time to rediscover. What would you do if no one was watching and no one was judging? Listen, you are enough right now. Here's what I want you to really hear. You don't have to earn love through performance. Your worth isn't dependent on how useful you are to others. You can stop worrying about whether you'll get what you need from others and instead commit to giving it to yourself. Recovery from people-pleasing will initially feel very lonely. Some people will leave when you start setting boundaries because they were there for what you could give them, not for who you actually are. But this isn't a loss, it's a clearing. You're making space for real connections with people who see and value the authentic you. And here's the beautiful part. Life's meaning comes from love, adventure, and honesty. When you're honest with the people you love, it actually makes them love you more. The real you, not the performance you. So there's a people-pleasing to authenticity spectrum. And there's a visual guide that I made to help you understand where you are on this spectrum. It's actually in the video notes, so you can go there and review. So moving forward out of this, remember, this isn't about becoming perfect or never caring about others. It's about finding that sweet spot where you can be genuinely generous from a place of abundance rather than desperately giving from a place of lack. The goal is to reach a place where I fell in love with the person I am and I just kind of let people come and go as they need to. Imagine that. Loving yourself so completely that you don't need to twist yourself into pretzels for approval. Your recovery journey has already shown you that transformation is possible. You've already proven you can break free from patterns that no longer serve you. This is just another layer of that same courage. So trust the process, trust yourself. You are not too much, and you are not enough. You are exactly who you're meant to be, and that person is worthy of love, starting with your own. All right, hope you enjoyed that. I will see you guys in 2 weeks.